These are starting to get their first paychecks since the partial government shutdown. For many, those checks will include back pay, the wages they would have earned during the shutdown. But there is no back pay for federal contract workers. CBS News spoke with two contract workers who are struggling to provide for their families. Both Lanice Hamilton, who works security at the Smithsonian National Museum of American History, and Army veteran Kevin Doyle, who was an encryption specialist at an Air Force base on the Texas-Mexico border, say they continue to feel overlooked in the aftermath of the shutdown.
One day, our 4-year-old, we had to go into town. We were looking for a pantry, and she said she was hungry. So what we did was we went through the car and found all the change we had. We went through her purse. We went through my pockets. I went in the seats trying to find out how much money we had to our name, which was nothing at the time. But we scraped up $3.89 for a Happy Meal for my 4-year-old. And we both sat there and cried in the parking lot of McDonald's because we couldn't even buy food for our house, no less a Happy Meal, and put that smile back on our 4-year-old's face. When it comes down to not being able to provide for your children, that day was the most heartbreaking day I've ever had in a long time. Why did they leave the contractors out? Why are these people still going to food pantries? Why are these people still losing their homes? Why are these people still can't afford to take their kids to school, can't keep their car? They can't afford any of this.
I'm a single mom of a 5-year-old, and I do everything for him, so I had to cut back on spending. Basically, when I had applied for food stamps, I had initially got denied because they said I had some type of income from January, and then I had to apply for rental assistance. I had to apply for energy and utility assistance, and I'm waiting to hear back from one of them. We feel overlooked, seeing as though we were not going to get back pay. I feel as though it's unfair to us because we work just like everybody else works, so we should be able to get back pay too.
And tomorrow on CBS This Morning, Ed O'Keefe reports on what's next for these contract workers after the shutdown. Democratic Minnesota Senator Tina Smith joins me now from Capitol Hill. She is proposing legislation to give back pay to contract workers like Doyle and Hamilton. Senator Smith, thank you so much for being with us. So reimbursing contract workers has never been done before. How would your proposal work?
Well, it's really good to be with you talking about this, and I'm just so struck when I was listening to the stories that you just played, the emotion in those people's voices, the sense of pride that they have in the work that they do, and then now this experience of being overlooked. And these federal contractors are often invisible. They are doing the invisible jobs that make our federal government work, cleaning office buildings at night when no one is there, or doing the work shoulder to shoulder with federal workers. It is just so wrong that they are being overlooked. And so I've introduced a bill with 37 of us in the Senate and also many in the House to make sure that these federal contract workers get the back pay that they should get. It is wrong that they be overlooked.
I think a lot of people would agree with you, Senator. A lot of contracting jobs, though, aren't standard hours. So do you expect this to be a sort of a complicated process to determine the amount each worker is owed?
Well, it is complicated to figure out exactly how to do this, and so we've taken our time, and what we have done with this bill is we've tapped into an existing process for reimbursing contractors for costs that they've incurred during a shutdown, and it's called the Equitable adjustment process. It's there right now, and what we're doing with this bill is expanding that to include wages for the lost wages for contractors. And so what would happen is the contractors would approach their federal contracting agent. These are people that they have a ongoing relationship with, and present them with the data and the information about wages that were lost, and then the federal contracting agent on the federal government side would come together to make sure that people get paid what they owed. It I think it's a process. I know that it's a process that will bring accountability and also be easy for folks both on the federal government side and on the contractor side to make work.
Now, Senator, as you know, there's a possibility of another government shutdown in 2 weeks. A bipartisan committee is negotiating the White House's border demands, but President Trump says he's not optimistic a wall will result from the talks. And here's what the president said Thursday. Let's listen.
I'm not waiting for this committee. And I've told a lot of people I don't expect much coming out of the committee because I keep hearing the words that we'll give you what you want, but we're not going to give you a wall. And the problem is, if they don't give us a wall, it doesn't work. Without a wall, it doesn't work.
So it also sounds there like the president is prepared to go around Congress. What is your understanding of what he wants in a deal and what he's likely to get?
Well, I have to say, to be really direct, the president seems to forget that Article 1 of the Constitution creates a Congress, creates a Senate, and then we have the House. And we have our constitutional responsibility to come up with legislation that we then send to the president. And he doesn't get to call all of the shots here. I was today speaking with the Leader Pelosi and also with Leader Schumer and some of the members of the conference committee that is tasked with coming up with a solution, and they feel confident that we can come up with a good solution that provides a border security and would get us out of this situation. I think it is completely irresponsible to threaten another shutdown because the president is saying he's not going to get exactly what he wants. None of us get exactly what we want in these deals. That's what negotiations are for.
And Senator,
and I should say also, these individuals shouldn't be, state and public employees and these contractors shouldn't be used as pawns in this ongoing dispute that he has created around a border wall.
I think a lot of people would agree with you there as well, Senator. Now, looking ahead, your Minnesota colleague, Senator Amy Klobuchar, is among those being rumored as a 2020 presidential candidate. Would you endorse her if she ran?
Well, I don't know exactly what Senator Klobuchar is going to do. Amy and I have been friends and colleagues for over 20 years, and I think she would make a terrific president, and I will leave it up to her to let us all know when she's ready what she wants to do.
Okay, that was a very good diplomatic answer. But if she doesn't run, let's say, who would get your endorsement?
Oh, it's way too early to tell. And I actually think that a competition, if on the Democratic side for who's going to carry the flag and who's going to win the endorsement is a good thing. It surfaces ideas. It helps us really understand the strengths of all of our candidates. And I think we've got a lot of really strong candidates.
And would you like to see Democrats nominate a woman in 2020?
Well, I think it would be terrific if we nominated a woman. But again, there's a competition that's going to unfold in it's over a year going forward, and I look forward to seeing what happens with that competition.
Absolutely. And it has been over a year since you replaced Senator Al Franken. He, of course, left Congress after sexual misconduct allegations. Do you think Congress has done enough to address sexual misconduct among its members?
Well, I believe strongly that women and men should feel safe and respected in their work environments, wherever that work environment should be. And we passed some new protections for people to have that kind of respect in the workplace if they work in Congress, and I think that's a really good thing. And I think also this has been a real point, a tipping point for women and men as we think about how we ought to be expected to be treated in where we work. And I don't know of a single woman who hasn't had some experience of not being treated the way they would have hoped to have been in the workplace. I'm fortunate. I have mostly worked in really highly respectful workplaces. But that, to me, is just a fundamental expectation that anybody should have. So we need to just keep on looking at it, though, moving forward.
Moving forward, indeed. Senator Tina Smith, thank you. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. And thank you for your attention to this federal contracting issue. It's very important.
Absolutely.